Namaskar doston, मैं Amitabh and you are watching Ed Talks with Amitabh Season 2. And as you are aware that every Monday we bring to you influencers, people whose life matter, life of significance, someone who has created a social impact, someone who has created educational impact. And in the same chain, we have a theme, a topic which is so very relevant in the today's context. And today we are going to talk about energy and vitality with Ayurveda. Friends, you know, these days, this Corona COVID is stretching beyond reason, and we are at the verge of where we are getting tired of getting tired as well. And that is where, in my conversation with our guest today, who is an expert in Ayurveda, has has been working and committed his life to Ayurvedic practice. He's a fourth generation Ayurvedic practitioner in his family and is totally committed to the ways and methods of Ayurveda. And today we're going to focus how we can work towards energy and vitality with Ayurveda. And friends, we have none other than Dr. Devraj with us. And when we're talking about Dr. Devraj, he he has, his love, while I was going through his credentials, and I realized it will be difficult for me to remember, and so I've made my own notes here to get across to you, and I've requested him if he can give us some video bites so that people get to know, because introducing him in few words is a big challenge here for me. But then, friends, Dr. Vignesh Devraj, for you all, is a fourth generation Ayurvedic healer and founder, chief physician of Sitaram Beach Retreat in Kerala. He's an international speaker on natural healing, Ayurveda, meditation, and transformation. He has spoken about Panchakarma. Panchakarma is something that is really has been taking to people's life and its healing powers. Even he's addressed people all across the world, even in San Francisco Bay Area, during various conferences in Singularity University, tracking the Wellness Court Summit in 2018 at Silicon Valley, yoga words at Stuttgart, and the Cologne Business School, among other venues. Friends, list is big. If I keep on reading, probably I'll be left with less time to talk about the theme that we have. So without any further ado, allow me to take you to a brief video on the work and the kind of retreat that he's worked on to help people have a solace in the calmness of nature and experience benefits of Ayurveda. Welcome to Ed Talks with Amitabh, Dr. Vignesh. It's a pleasure that you could find time to be with us. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Amitabh. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be with you.
It's a pleasure. And before we go in any other conversation, the video that we were watching just now itself is so very exciting. It looked something which is out of this world. I think being at that place itself will be so very calming. I mean, how did you conceptualize this retreat?
I mean, I personally went through a journey of healing with Panchakarma. So at one point of time, even though I come from a family of Ayurveda and my father is an Ayurvedic doctor, my great grandfather started this Ayurvedic pharmacy and he was into holistic healing. But I had a problem with sugar addiction and I used to get into so much of problems because of that. And I had
Okay.
a severe sweet tooth and I used to get into severe allergies because of that. And then I had to undergo a Panchakarma treatment in spite of being a doctor, but having my own bad habits. I underwent this Panchakarma, and that was my life changing thing that happened. But while
Okay.
I did my Panchakarma, I realized doing it in a hospital is not really what we need. We need to do it in a place where you are also able to connect with nature and relax. Because
Right.
Panchakarma is quite a bit stressful procedure because it is going to eliminate all the unwanted toxins from your system. So that is a quite stressful activity therapy that is going on its own. So I realized we need a place where you can do the Panchakarma, but at the same time you are able to relax and connect with nature.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
how this idea of Sitaram Beach Retreat came.
That's so very fantastic. It, looking at a place does not give a feeling of a hospital at all. It is it looks more like a, resort, and you quite rightly have named it as a retreat because one can nourish there rather than just looking for the hospital image, and the treatment image is very very. Otherwise, in last few months, the hospital image has become even more challenging. So this looks a
Exactly.
very relaxing hospital. So, Dr. Vignesh, talking about energy and vitality with Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is
Mhm.
big something, and we would like to have you for multiple episodes to make people know about this field more. But today, as we are focusing on energy and vitality, I, allow me to bring the current context there, the COVID and the corona. We have been oversaturated with treatment procedures, and every second person is ready with an advice. But there's one thing which gradually is setting in, and I think all of us are experiencing, and that is there's a kind of an undefined kind of a lethargy that is now getting into people. Work from home is good, but then this lack of physical activity, being confined, limited to a few thousand square feet for more than a year, that is kind of setting in a kind of a restlessness and a fatigue. And then while we were having this informal discussion, I quoted you in my opening remarks that people are getting tired of being tired. And what do you how do you see the current phase, and what is the general cause of fatigue, and what do you think in the current context why people are experiencing this fatigue, and what effect it is having on
Now, in Ayurveda, we have, every disease you can classify it into two types: diseases of overconsumption and diseases of malnourishment.
people?
Now, when I say malnourishment, it means, if people are dehydrated, that's a malnourishment. You're not having enough water in your system.
Mhm.
Vitamin deficiency, it's a kind of malnourishment.
Right,
And on the other hand, you have diseases of overconsumption, like diabetes. It's a diseases because you consumed more than what your body can actually handle.
right,
Overweight is actually a disease of overconsumption. High blood
right,
pressure, high levels of uric acid, high levels of cholesterol.
right.
So any disease you take, you can put under any of these two categories. You are overfed or you are malnourished. Diseases
Okay,
of overconsumption or something that our body is lacking.
right.
Now, Ayurveda says diseases of malnourishment is much easier to treat compared to diseases of overconsumption. I mean,
Okay,
it's common sense. We don't need Ayurveda to come and say that. It's common sense for us. Uh, if something, it's like what we say is, let's say some animal gets inside your home, it's going to be difficult to get it out, but it's much easier to protect it from not entering.
right.
Like, for example, if you are having a vitamin deficiency, you can go and easily top it up. You could get a vitamin supplement or you could get it from the natural source and you could top it up.
Right.
But let's say your sugar levels are very high, your cholesterol levels are very high, it's very difficult to eliminate it from your system.
Okay.
And today, what is happening is, at those times in Ayurveda, it was mentioned, diseases of overconsumption is more difficult to treat, and it will lead to more of lethargy, and it's like diseases of rich men because they are consuming a lot than what they can
Right.
actually handle.
Hmm.
So today what we see is more and more people are dying because of diseases of overconsumption than diseases of malnourishment. It's not that people are not dying because of malnourishment. There are people dying because of no food, lack of good quality water, things like that. But when you look at it today, if you see and compared to history, more people are dying because of overconsumption, and that is because we are having too much of abundance problems than scarcity problems.
Okay. Okay.
And today, people are tired because our human's body, our brain is not designed to have exposure to too much of this food and too much of cognitive load. When I say cognitive load, I mean like the information that is coming to us.
Right.
We are
Right.
using the same brain that was designed 200,000 years ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that the same software, but the requirement is has gone really up, and then anxiety levels have gone up, and our ability to digest has really come down, and our physical activity has also reduced dramatically. So all of this put together, we are still reinventing ourselves how to live in this new age, and that is
Right.
why tiredness is a symptom of, we are in the transit zone of
Okay.
from a time when we didn't have smartphone to a Zoom and to Uber and to Swiggy and this kind of a lifestyle. So this
Right.
transit period is realizing coming out of as tiredness because we are handling too much of information that our nervous system is not used to it, and we are consuming more than what we our body can consume, and our lack of movement is contributing more to it.
That's so very intriguing to know, and what you said is probably we all know it, but we never looked at it from this perspective. You've put it so very simply, but so very strongly that you know it's easier to take care of deficiencies.
Hmm.
The problem and the challenge is abundance. If you have excess sugar in your body, that is more difficult to handle than to deal with the deficiency of vitamin, and that is where it gives a whole new perspective. Now this brings to a point that a lot of people, Ayurveda, though it is very our very own method of treatment, it is more Vedic as well, but then it has always been for a very long period of time looked at by people with apprehension.
Hmm.
And here comes, people were more pro homeopathy, sorry, allopathy. Earlier, even homeopathy was being looked with the reservation. But then I think last decade or two, a lot of things have changed and people have realized, even within India, I mean, outside people were valuing Ayurveda than what we were valuing it within our own country. But I think in last 1.5 year, if we look at even our prime minister going up in his speeches and talking about taking kada, and the base has become stronger for Ayurveda, and people have realized its importance. So what are some of the things that people need to know about Ayurveda? I mean, in Ayurveda as a medicine, Ayurveda as a concept, Ayurveda as a phenomenon.
Yes, Amitabh. I mean, you're quite spot on with that. Like one of the reasons why people are having apprehensions towards Ayurveda, this is actually a this time period, the last few decades. If you see, Ayurveda is an answer to humanity. See, if you look at people sometimes, when they ask me what is the difference between mainstream medicine or allopathic system and Ayurveda, how do you differentiate? Is it like Ayurveda takes a long time to heal, and allopathy, you get a immediate relief from whatever you're going through? So the best answer I always tell them difference is allopathy is the answer to humanity's question, how can I increase the number of years to my life?
Right,
When people were dying of infectious diseases, emergency care, allopathy is like God. You have somebody with a heart attack, you take him to a great cardiologist with an ICU, the life just comes
right,
back.
right,
That allopathy doctor is able to push that yama away. That's his
right,
powers.
right, right, right.
But when you ask what does Ayurveda do, Ayurveda has answered to humanity's question, how can I add more life to my years?
Okay,
See, when you ask people, how long do you want to live? I don't want to live that long. The reason why people give that kind of an answer is they don't trust that they will have health in their old age. They think that old age means they're going to be sick and they're going to have a lot of problems and they'll be handicapped or they need support from people and they'll not be able to do that. So somewhere their belief is like they will not be able to have a longevity with good vitality. So if you ask what is Ayurveda, Ayurveda is a science that will guide you. It's like a manual to have a longevity with vitality. And thanks to allopathic system, which is able to help us overcome many of the infectious diseases that you see. Sanitization became a big thing, and many of the protocols that allopathic system has put. That is why the longevity has increased. But right now we are facing problems of abundance, and
Right.
that is where Ayurveda is becoming more and more relevant because treating diseases of overconsumption, Ayurveda works very good. And that is why today Ayurveda is coming back. And why is it coming back again? Because our nation was under a big poverty for a very long period. And
Right.
allopathic system works in a society with a lot of poverty
Right.
because they are suffering with a lot of infectious diseases, sanitization issues. So their allopathic system has to come, and it is much cheaper. Allopathic system has evolved to such a level that it becomes much cheaper.
Right.
But Ayurveda, it is a rich man's diseases they are able to treat. And today, what is happening is the quality of life is getting better. And we are the diabetic capital in the world.
Okay.
Sugar is
Okay.
rationed, rice is rationed, and all of this are contributing to diabetes. So, apart from taking something that is suppressing with a hormone replacement therapy, we need to find an alternative way that is much more holistic. That is why more and more Ayurvedic approaches are coming back because your natural immunity is the most powerful pharmacy that is ever devised. Whatever you go
Okay.
and buy from the pharmacy, be it a painkiller, it's already there in your body. Be it a sleeping pill, that is already our melatonin is already released by our body. You get a wound,
Okay.
something needs to heal, our body releases that. Whatever hormones you're buying from the pharmacy, our body is already releasing that. And what Ayurveda does is it helps to make sure your inner pharmacy is functioning at its best. And it gives you a guidelines what all you need to do and how to change. It's not just giving medications that is Ayurveda. It is not just ashwagandha or chavanaprash. It is a lifestyle
Okay.
that how you can integrate into your daily part of your. It comes with waking up on time, eating the right things, having good emotional aspect of things. And on top of that, there are many rituals that you can do once a year, like Panchakarma. And along with that, when you integrate some of the herbs and medications that are mentioned in Ayurveda, that is what is constituting to a longevity with vitality.
Right. Longevity with vitality is what Ayurveda assures for all of us, and I think that's a very strong line. And you've given a very intriguing comparison, and you've used a term which I would like to develop more insight for our audience is Ayurveda helps us activate our inner pharmacy.
Yes.
We all have been talking about there've been a lot of discussion. People say that uh, cure for everything is within our own self, and in a way that's what I personally feel you emphasize when you said inner pharmacy. So how does this Ayurveda trigger the inner buttons and activates this inner pharmacy?
Okay. If you understand the human body, we call it, even in Hindi, we call it Sharira.
Yeah.
Sharira is the word we call for human body. And in
Right.
Sanskrit, it's also called Sharira because it has a lot of influence from Sanskrit. And if you look at
Right.
the etymology of the word Sharira, it goes like Shiryate Anena Iti Shariram, which means our body is a constant degenerating mechanism.
Right.
See, every split second, billions of cells in our liver are dying and the new cells are being formed.
Right.
And every 4 months, the red blood cells die and the new red blood cells are coming. So every
Right.
moment, our body is dying and the new cells are being formed.
Right.
So, which means our body has a mechanism. It's like a software. Whatever you consume, let's say you're consuming some rice, that is going to become a part of your body that will help to nourish the dead cells, and then you are able to regenerate that.
Right. Right.
So, this intelligence is already there in our body. We don't have to reinvent that wheel.
Okay.
But
Okay.
however, when this intelligence is when we interfere with this intelligence, with a lifestyle, what can you, if at all you're having an unhealthy lifestyle, what are
Dr.
the
Vignesh, can
suggestions
I
to
just request you to
accelerate your unhealthy?
can I just request you to repeat? We just lost your signal, dropped a bit in last 10 seconds. So can you just repeat what you said?
Sorry. What we're saying is the body is called as Sharira.
Right.
And the word Sharira means Shiryate Anina Iti Shariram. That means our body is a constant degenerating mechanism. So when our
Perfect.
body is constantly degenerating, what we mean is every split second, billions of cells in our liver are dying and the new cells are being formed.
Right.
So this ability to die and regenerate, that is
Right.
what makes our body uh, alive. And when you ask, what does it mean to die every moment? It means we are constantly eliminating waste. We are a
Right.
constant waste eliminating mechanism. So if you ask what's the difference between a living body and a dead body, the dead body stops eliminating waste. Living body is continuously eliminating waste. So if somebody is
Okay.
alive, he's continuously eliminating carbon dioxide, which is actually a waste from us. But
Right.
even though that is something that is going to support the plants, which will inhale and give out oxygen, but for us,
Okay.
waste elimination is carbon dioxide is coming out.
Right.
So the sign of life is waste elimination, according to this definition of Sharira. And
Okay.
the sign of death is the waste elimination stops, it
Right.
ceases. So
Okay.
today, when there is a under efficiency of your waste elimination, that means our energy levels are also going down.
Okay.
Let's say somebody, if you see in Bollywood movies, somebody is going to drive a car and some villain comes and keeps a tennis ball in the exhaust pipe of the car and they cannot
Yes.
start the car. Just
Right.
that one tennis ball is able to stop that whole engineering marvel of that car completely useless. Why is that? Because the waste elimination is blocked.
That's a
The flow
beautiful
of energy
analogy.
is blocked. So today what is happening is the overconsumption that we are having, it is blocking our ability to eliminate waste.
Okay.
And Ayurveda talks how you can enhance this waste elimination and why you should stop over consuming. It gives you tips and techniques how to live a lifestyle so that your consumption is not much. If you're having cravings, how can we come out of those cravings? And if you're having toxins, how can we get rid of that? It's a both. It's a you have to treat it from both the sides. So
Right.
that way, what happens is our ability to enhance our immunity goes up. And what is immunity? Immunity is not that you will not fall sick. If you fall sick, your ability to recover is much quicker. And that is what immunity is. And if your body is toxic with too much of overconsumption, then your body is so focused on dealing with that. When a real attack happens, you don't have the energy to face that. And that is what in today's communication we call it as comorbidities, because his body is already having enough problems. It doesn't have the energy to fight this current whatever microbe that has been infected in him.
Right.
So
Right.
that is what comorbidity. So what Ayurveda says is get out of these unwanted stuff from your system so that your natural intelligence will function on its own. So that is what Ayurveda does.
That's so beautifully explained, and I think that answers me. There's been one term which has been used quite a lot lately in all social conversations in last few years, and that is detox. Everyone is talking about are you get, and I think I'm getting the answer to what you explained just now, that we need to take those toxins out. I mean, if you rather than using the WhatsApp University or WhatsApp medical advice, it's better to go to the right professional and identify what needs to be taken out of the body and what needs to be added to the body so that body can have the right balance. And Dr. Vignesh, before we go further into the vitality and the energy side to it, there's one of our the viewers from YouTube, Sahil Agarwal. There's a question that has been put up is what you were saying a little while earlier, uh, that can Ayurveda work as fast as allopathic medicine?
Okay. Uh, First of all, I don't know how to answer that question. It is like it's not about fast as allopathic medicine. It is about what is the end result that you're looking for.
Right.
See, for example, if you take a beta blocker, your blood pressure is going to come down.
Right.
Ayurveda does not have a beta blocker.
Okay. Okay.
So if you ask like that, Ayurveda is not going is doesn't have a substitute for beta blocker. Ayurveda doesn't have a substitute for hormone replacement therapy. But
Okay.
Ayurveda will take its own time. And the question that you need to ask is, what is true healing? Is it like just suppressing that symptoms under the carpet, or you are recovering from it that you don't need to depend on a medicine in the future? See, in Ayurveda, we always say the purpose of taking a medicine is to stop taking the medicine.
Right.
So if you're asking for that, see, the question of fast is a very debatable thing. You need to know what is your end result. If you just want a quick fix, definitely you need to see what is required. But if
Right.
see, it is like, let's say you're running an organization and you are having some cash flow issues. The
Right.
question is taking a loan a sustainable thing? Is that really solving your problem? Or should I work on my working capital so that I am profitable by my own ways of working so that I can live long? So the
Right.
question is, Ayurveda helps in improving your working capital. Allopathy helps you in getting that loan.
Right. That's I really am you're finding it those analogies that you're sharing very intriguing. You talked about your an automobile, somebody blocking the emission, and it spoils the whole system. And now you're giving the analogy with the banking process, that the comparison between, that's so beautiful and so very clear. And Mr. Sahil Agarwal, I hope you've got your answer. And I think what is important for everyone, that what I could realize listening to Dr. Vignesh, that let us stop comparing uh, allopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda. They're all various pathies and systems aimed to achieve an objective. And whatever is our objective, we need to work towards it. As he quite beautifully said, if you need to whether you want to create a sustainable business model, but then you may have an immediate need to take a loan. So somebody may provide you a sustainable business model, and somebody may provide you just a loan, which will make you a little more dependent in the long run.
See,
So you
we
need
might
a
need
solution.
both. We might need both different depending on which stage we are.
Absolutely. So it is not about comparison or competition between pathies. It is about understanding the need and using the appropriate procedure, because they are all procedures. ये नाम तो सब हमने आपने दिए. They are all procedures being studied by different experts, and we should reach out to the right expert at the right time. Dr. Vignesh, this brings us to the theme. When we are talking, you've been constantly talking about vitality.
Mhm.
So when we talk about vitality and energy, how does and what do we refer to, and how can people work towards their vitality and energy, and that too in current times?
Yeah. So as I mentioned previously, we are having too much of abundance problems.
Okay.
First is to have improve your energy, you must understand what is it that you're consuming more and how can you cut down on that. See, like they talk about, if your computer is slow, try to reduce the number of functions that you're working so that your energy is able to be optimized properly. If you're working on too many things, the computer is naturally going to work slow than what it can consume. So where does our energy go? Our energy goes a lot for our functioning of our brain, because that drains a lot of our body's energy. Energy goes a lot with our digestion. So depending on all of this, what are the activities afterwards you feel drained out? Some people say, after food I feel so tired, I feel so bloated, I want to just go and sleep after food. So that means you need to correct your digestion. That is where your vitality is going down or your energy is going down. Some people say,
Okay.
when I'm indulging in a particular kind of work, afterwards I feel very bored. That means the job that you're working, you're not passionate about it. You don't like what you're doing, or somewhere your skill is not competent enough to deal the requirements of that job.
Right.
So you need to work on that. So you have to see, first of all, the first thing is, you need to see what if there is any nutritional deficiencies that needs to be addressed first. Like, for example, some people are having vitamin deficiency or some
Right.
electrolyte imbalances. Those things needs to be corrected first.
Right.
And also they need to make sure that their food is wholesome. Food is where the energy comes. But at the same time, many people feel tired after food. That's the irony of it. That's
Right.
because they are not consuming the right kind of food. They are just consuming what is good for their tongue.
Right.
So what is good for the tongue need not be what giving you energy, because the food companies understood we are addicted to sugar, salt, and fat. That's how our brain is designed. So
Right.
as long as you give that, and the addiction continues, because that makes us feel safe.
Right.
But it is not a, and when you feel tired, your auto response is I want to eat more,
Right.
because tiredness means I'm lacking energy. Low energy means I need to eat more. That is how our brain is designed.
Right.
But we are just feeding for our tongue's entertainment, not for our energy requirement of the body. So
Right.
you need to understand this. Are you eating for your entertainment, or if you're feeling tired after food, you need to correct your digestion first.
Okay.
And correction of that digestion starts with, in Ayurveda, we have a unique concept called as vipaka. Vipaka means
Right.
after you eat the food, what is the aftertaste?
Right.
Like, how is your aftertaste after you consume something? Usually, we eat food according to the taste. We like, if you like the taste, you eat it. But afterwards, how are you feeling? Are you feeling heavy? Are you feeling bloated? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling like some kind of heaviness creeping inside of you? If that is happening, then something has to change completely.
Okay. Okay.
So, first, changing your way of consuming, not just with food, with your phone, with your work, with your social media, with your news, with your friends. So, whatever is consuming, start being aware of where your energy is being drained out after you consume that. So once you become aware of that, what happens is these are the things that are draining my energy. And once you eliminate that, the natural stuff is your energy is back. You don't have to reinvent this energy. See, if you're alive, that means you have energy, but you just need to make sure that that energy is there to for you to do the work that you want to do, not that it is making you tired because the body is busy dealing with other problems.
Okay. So
So that
one
is the
needs to
first thing.
conserve that energy.
Exactly. I mean, one needs to make sure that whatever energy that we have in our body, it is utilized for the base cell metabolic rate, whatever is required for that. And the rest of the energy, we can use it for our needs. And this also happens with our surrendering to the biological clock. Going to sleep on time is such a powerful thing. And in Ayurveda, those days they mentioned a disease spectrum called as Vata Rekta. Vata Rekta in today's world is arthritis, autoimmune disorders, high blood pressure. All of this falls under the concept of Vata Rekta. And one of the first
Right.
problems of Vata Rekta is when people are staying awake late at night. And if you see people
Okay.
staying awake late at night, will have a lot of issues because of Vata Rektam. And that is when people feel tired. It's not about having 8 hours of sleep. More important is what time of the night you're going to sleep. That also plays an important role. So if you can go to sleep in time of like before 10 o'clock or between 10 and 10:30, that is one of the best gifts you can do to improve your energy levels.
Okay. Okay.
So by
That.
following these itself, you will see that, and also of course doing exercise. This is very important because when we move our body, more energy, like the Newton's law of, when somebody is not moving, they feel tired. When they start moving, the energy just comes back. So we need to change that. So exercise is such a powerful thing. That is why in Ayurveda, Vyayama means exercise. It is something that is mentioned that is to be done every day.
Okay.
And
Okay.
people,
Uh,
yes.
so it's when we, what, well, while listening to you, what I could sense that when we talk about Ayurveda, it is not about prescribing a medicine. It's about being very holistic about your life at large. It is like you use a very whatever you are consuming, even the thoughts, what are you involved with, what kind of even the kind of where is your energy going away. So it's about identifying your basic life patterns. Now, there is a general thought process that people have that
Hmm.
it can be, say, I have an acidity problem. Uh,
Hmm.
if somebody has that kind of an issue or a concern. Now, people think there can be some very like if we go to allopathy, we get you pop in few pan 40s, or you feel little relief. That is the SOS that one gets on. But then what I could gather from you that in Ayurveda it is not about that. It is identifying what is causing that kind of acidic environment in the body and working on it. So is there a kind of a standard procedure that people can follow? It varies from people to people.
Now, see, definitely a standard procedure is very difficult to put.
Right.
Definitely, it has to vary from person to person, and Ayurveda is obsessed with customization of every individual,
Okay.
because no two
Okay.
individuals are the same. Because I am born to different parents, and their way of genetic predisposition that I inherited are different, and the same with others also. However, certain lifestyle can be quite universal. But when it comes to acidity, today, if you go to, I mean, if you see the research statistics in United States, it's a big, millions of people are suffering with acidity there. And that is
Okay.
because people are eating too fast, they're not chewing well, and the body has to fight, so much of food is coming inside of you. Let's say that you have one door and so many people are trying to enter through that door, the body cannot handle that. So
Right.
that is why when there is too much of consumption and people are eating too fast, then they are
Right.
not able to handle that. And also on top of that, if they eat a lot of spicy food, sugary food, the body has to digest a lot of heavy stuff. So
Right.
slowly it has to change.
Okay.
So one thing is, I always recommend, one of the drugless, you know, ways of dealing with acidity is start eating slow, chew well, and also reduce your spices if it is too spicy, and also eat on time.
Okay.
Of course, there are many medications for in Ayurveda for acidity, but that's this beyond the scope of what we are trying to say. Then it is not my duty to give a prescription as a universal thing, because it has to be given customized. Please do consult. Don't go to Google. Google can make you a hypochondriac, and it will
Okay.
make you get into more anxiety. Get into the hands of a good doctor that you trust, and take that guidance. And that is one of the best things you can do for your health.
Right. Just give me a second, Dr. Vignesh. I just got a message from my backup team that my screen is frozen.
Sure.
No, I think it's working fine. I think it's working all right now. Sorry for the interruption, and I think it'll just the right time to take a quick break before we come back to our further discussion. Be with us. We'll take a quick promo break, and we'll show you a concept because mental health is important, and let's see this promo for mental health. Welcome back, and friends, you are listening to Dr. Vignesh Devraj, the leading practitioner of Ayurveda, fourth generation practitioner, and we have been getting some great insight from him. And we are also having questions and queries pouring in from our audience and viewers. And there's a very intriguing question which has come up. But before we come to that, I would like to connect back to where we got a little bit of a signal issue, which my team gave me a message that my screen was frozen for a while. Now, coming back here, we were talking about can there be a customized solution? We were talking with reference to acidity, and you were explaining with example there. And what is very clear, and I would like all our audience and viewers to know that, friends, हम लोग रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में जब लोगों से मुलाकात करते हैं, when we get that interaction with people, बहुत सारे लोग जो किसी those who are successful satisfied customers of a particular pathy, be it Ayurvedic, एंड उन्होंने किसी को कंसल्ट किया, उनके केस में एक एसिडिक उनका जो वर्किंग प्लान था, दैट हैज गिवन देम लॉट ऑफ रिलीफ, and that person passes on that procedure to the other person कि भाई ये मैं इससे मेरे को बहुत फायदा हुआ। और हम लोगों को लगता है कि ये जो आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन है इससे कोई नेगेटिव असर तो होगा नहीं, तो और अगर उनको फायदा हुआ है तो आई डोंट नीड अ डॉक्टर एंड आई कैन टेक the medicine and pop in some of those advice and that may help, and then it sometimes works, we become very happy, sometimes it doesn't, and most of the time it doesn't, and then we start losing patience and we say that it is not working. Friends, it's a complete method. There's a science behind, and as Dr. Vignesh said, and I that has made a lot of sense to me, that Ayurveda is obsessed with customization, personalization. It cannot be very generalized. What worked for one may not necessarily work for the other. So it is very important that you consult with the right person and the right professional to get the benefits of any pathy, including Ayurveda, and that is where you will get the benefit of that medical system and procedure. Uh, Dr. Vignesh, this was, I was remembering somewhere in some discussion, somebody mentioned about Vat, Pitt, Kapha, and as a three base of Ayurvedic. So, can you just throw some light for our viewers on that?
Yes, definitely. See, in the Vedic philosophies, we have the concept of five elements, like the Pancha Mahabhutas. Like we have the earth, water, fire, space, and air. Now, what we call it, these are the Pancha Mahabhutas. So they conceptualized what are the triggering factors. When these elements are in harmony, there is good health. When something goes
Right.
wrong with these elements, then we are in disease. So they came up with this thing,
Okay.
Prithvi and Jala, which is the earth and water combined together, is what we call it as Kapha. And
Okay.
Kapha is the majority of the part of our body. See, the blood, the skin, the teeth, the eyes, anything that has a form in our body is actually
Okay.
Kapha.
Okay.
And then Pitta is a combination of fire and water. And that is what you call it as acid. Acid is what? Fire in the element of fire blend with water. And we
Right.
have this acid inside of us that is helping us to convert the food that we are consuming into energy. And that is
Okay.
also responsible for all the metabolisms that are happening. So if
Right.
somebody is having a metabolic disorders like polycystic ovarian syndrome or diabetes or overweight, this is an
Right.
imbalance of pitta. So that
Right.
is what pitta is. And then you have your vata, which is a combination of space and air. Now, when
Right.
you talk about space and air, this is the two most powerful elements in the whole universe, because the sun, solar system, it is all in the universe, and universe is what? It's space. And of
Right.
course, inside that space, we have all these things. And that is what we call it as vata. And in our body, the space, we believe in the concept of five sheets or pancha koshas. We have
Right.
annamaya kosha, we have pranamaya kosha, we have manomaya kosha, vijnana. Like there are five sheets to us.
Okay.
Annamaya kosha is the food sheet where the kapha and pitta is there.
Okay.
And vata is somewhere that is going to the pranamaya kosha, which is something that vata does not have a form. Space does not have a form. You cannot go to a laboratory and find it. That is why sometimes people go and do the blood test and they come back and say everything is normal, but still, why do I have this problem?
Right.
They go and do some investigations. They come back and say, is it something in my mind or is it something there? But the pain is still there. And when you tell it is there, it is just in your mind, the patient gets even more frustrated because they feel that
Right.
you are not understanding to them. And that is what vata is. And vata means movement. Every movement that is happening inside of your body. See, the words that I'm talking right now, it is passing through this microphone and it is reaching you, and people are able to
Right.
listen. That is the vata. It is the
Right.
Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. These are the things that are vata. And same way, the nervous energy that we have internally, that is what is vata. And vata is responsible for all the movements that are happening in our body. The nervous disorders belong to vata. So understanding these three energies and trying to
Okay.
balance it out is the concept of this vata, pitta, and kapha.
Thank you so much for educating us on that, Dr. Vignesh. And there's, one of our viewers, Nivedita Amitabh, she writes, it's a question which is, I think, in everybody's mind at the moment. And her query is, can Ayurveda help us deal with that in some way? And that is, the question is, what precautions can we take to avoid black fungus? Is there any kind of medicine for it? Like, if as if Ayurvedic medicine can be preventive about black fungus, white fungus that is being talk of the
See,
word that.
the microbes is something that is uh, part of nature. There is something that we have to deal with it.
Right.
But the question is if there is an imbalance in the growth and our immunity is going low. First of all, is sanitization. In ancient times, like we all know about fumigation. Fumigation is something, we think that fumigation is something we do only in places of worship like temples or church or cemetery, or when people die, or when there is a big function, we do this homa and there is a lot of fumigation happening. But today there is a lot of researches done. When you do fumigation, you are actually dehumidifying the part, and also you're reducing the fungal and the microbial load of that area. And today,
Okay.
when you go to a place, if there is, because especially in places where the humidity is on rise, because
Right.
water is life, water is where the life starts. So when
Right.
the humidity goes up in the air, then the possibility of microbial load in that place is very high. So Ayurveda talks about fumigation as a prerequisite for that. So there is this thing called as aparajita dhupa churnam. It talks in
Okay.
Ayurveda. I'll again say it, aparajita dhupa churnam. You can find it in the market. This is
Okay.
something you can buy it and burn it, and it creates a smoke which is fantastic for killing the microbial load in your surroundings. And if you
Okay.
have molds in your home,
All
get rid
right.
of that somehow.
Okay, okay, and if people who are in right now, I'm connected to you from West Bengal and Calcutta, where the humidity is very the level of humidity. It's a very humid environment we have around us. So that means there is a greater vulnerability to this and
Yeah, see, humidity means, when I live in Kerala, and here humidity is like, it's like breathing water inside.
right, right,
So every rainy season, we will have a huge mold and fungal formation in many leather jackets and leather things if you're not washing it properly.
right.
So that is why fumigation is a must if you are living in a place where the humidity is very high.
All right. And you mentioned, can you just that recommendation that you've given? Can you just spell that for our audience once again, because that's going to
It
be
is called
something very useful for everyone.
aparajita dhupa
Aparajita.
churnam. Dhupa churnam.
Aparajita Upachurnam.
Dhupa churnam. Yes.
All right.
Aparajita dhupa churnam.
And I'm sure we'll put that up later on our social media platforms along with your uh, interaction so that people can refer to that as well. Now, this when we're talking about so it's about prevention, it's about hygiene, and otherwise it's part of the nature. More careful we are, we can prevent ourselves, and a lot of researchers are going in various other pathies. As the researchers will reveal, we will get to know more about things. Now this brings us to another query from our one of our viewers that's up here, is that we talk about energy, and even I remember, and that's a question that has been put up here, is पढ़ते पढ़ते बहुत थक जाते, we feel very tired and fatigued, and one of the uh, easiest solution is कि चलो चाय ले लेते हैं, coffee पी लेते हैं, and and that coffee takes the sleep away, takes we feel a little energized with it. And the query is that what is Ayurveda's take on getting energy from caffeine?
Okay. Caffeine, if you look at it from an Ayurvedic point of view, it is quite drying. And otherwise, caffeine is a nervous stimulant. And
Okay,
what it actually does is it makes your body forget that you're tired.
okay,
So it is disconnecting your feedback signal to your brain that you're tired. So when you forget that you're tired, you feel you're all right.
okay,
So why is your body feeling tired? Because tiredness is a signal from your body that you need to relax.
Right.
So most of the people are tired because they are not intentionally relaxing properly when they are supposed to relax. Maybe their sleep is disturbed. Maybe they
Okay.
are not sleeping on time. So when people are relaxing intentionally, like going to sleep on time and taking the right relaxation, instead of, see, there is a difference between intentional relaxation and distraction with entertainment. So most
Right.
of the people today are tired because of that, and taking a coffee will help you forget about your tiredness. Over, I mean, one or two coffee, there's nothing wrong. But if you constantly depend on like third, fourth, and fifth cups of coffee, then it's too dangerous. You need to really check in with yourself what is happening with your energy levels.
Okay. Okay. So, so it is more pseudo sense of energy rather than caffeine giving us energy as such. So, this brings me to a question that what could be the appropriate way to energize instead of taking caffeine? What could be better alternatives? A lot of people lately have been talking about green tea and those kind of things. Does that help in any way?
Again, these are stimulants that will be there. See, first of all, you need to see, the purpose of Ayurveda is to enhance your connection with your inner self. And that is what the word
Right.
for health in Ayurveda is called as swastha. The word swastha has
Okay.
two sounds, swa and sta. Like we have the words in Hindi like swadesh, swatantra.
Right.
Like my,
Right.
I want to reside in my own place. So
Right.
swa means my own place, and sta means connected or established.
Right.
So when people are feeling tired, if they are really connected, they understand why I'm feeling tired. Is it because of some heavy food that I ate, or is it because I didn't sleep well, or is it because I am lacking food? Some people get tired because when there is a hypoglycemia, when they are not having enough food. So when people are becoming very sensitive to their feelings, they are able to identify why they are having it. So
Right.
once they understand, they know how to sustain this good energy and also to stop whatever is triggering this tiredness. So
Okay.
that is the natural way, but today, it's very difficult to convince us, but at least it's our duty to put the seeds inside them that it is also possible in a natural way. Sometimes just by drinking water, they feel the energy is good. Sometimes
Right.
just taking a nimbu pani will help to increase the energy levels. So
Right.
you need to understand where they are feeling it. And coffee is just one of the ways, just that coffee marketing campaigns, they had a good budget, so they were able to advertise it in a professional way.
Okay. All right.
But I'm not
Now,
against coffee or pro coffee, but that's just one
no,
of
no,
the ways.
absolutely. Even as I talk to you, I'm sipping on my cup of coffee. But lighter weight aside,
Okay. For me, it's
there's one.
water. It's just
Now, there's one very interesting uh, reinforcement of the apprehension that we were talking about. Sahil Agrawal is asked a question earlier, also as again asked a query. The Ayurvedic medicine in the market, is it trustable? Or is it best to find raw resources and consume it in the raw form?
see. That's a very see. There are certain things consuming it in raw form is better. There are certain things consuming it where it is processed is better. That is why in Ayurveda there are conditions where you are supposed to consume raw forms. There are conditions where you are supposed to consume the processed form because certain individual herbs, like for ginger, you don't need to go and buy a ginger tablet. You buy it from there. Same way, many of the single herbs, if you have the possibility of getting it raw, fantastic, and learn how to embrace it in your cooking or embrace it how you can make a kada after it from your own home and then have it. But certain, let's say you are suffering with some digestive issues, there are many Ayurvedic formulations which are a processed thing. When you consume it, it will help. When I say processed, please don't misunderstand with the word processed food which are having a lot of chemicals.
Right.
I'm just saying it's a polyherbal combination that are processed together. So in such
Right.
situations, taking a Ayurvedic medication will be helpful.
Okay. So it is once again conditional, and there is no reason to disbelieve what is available in the market. But then, in what context you are using it is important, because
Exactly.
sometimes raw is more useful and has better results or more relevant. Sometimes popping up a pill which is available, because that is pills are available because that makes it convenient for us, because we may not get all the resources available around, and that is why pills become so very important at times to take it. So I hope, Mr. Sahil, you got your answer once again. Dr. Now talking to you is so very informative, but then our time is racing against us. I would like your inputs to our audience, that what can they do to energize themselves, to vitalize, if there's certain steps they can take, and also what can they do as preventive mechanism, keeping the current context in mind. In fact,
Taking off.
before I go for that, there's one very intriguing little controversial question, though, there. Before you answer this, that's from Avnish Mohan, and I know that's my brother also, and he's put up this question, that how good is Patanjali's medicine for COVID-19 as they claim?
Okay, I come from Kerala because it's mostly used in North India. So it's not whether I'm pro or against or anything of that sort. For me, as of now, I'm from Kerala, and we prepare our own medications and give. So I have not experienced it or heard anyone saying whether it did help them good or help them bad. So I would recommend you to ask them to check with people who had tried it. That's a much better answer that I can give.
Fair enough. Now we go to your advice
This
to
is
our
this
audience.
is not a this is not a diplomatic or a neutral stand. I just don't know. That's the
I
thing.
totally agree with you. Totally value and respect that. So, what is your recommendation and advice, Dr. Vignesh, to our audience to energize themselves, and what can they do in the current context?
So make sleep as a important priority. Today, many people are sleep deprived, and compromising on your sleep is a slow euthanasia.
Okay.
Ayurveda talks about nidra as the most powerful step to balance your vata, and balancing your vata means you are balancing your nervous system. Balancing your nervous system means you are reducing your possibilities of anxiety, fear, depression, and all of these things that will come associated with that. So sleep is a very important factor. Then hydrate yourself well, get into exercise, and make sure your digestion is good. If you are suffering with constipation, get professional help and make sure your constipation is gone and your digestion is much better. If you see
Right.
that you're overeating, come out of that with some help. Bring portion control and eat a wholesome food. And if you're into unhealthy junk food, get out of it and get wholesome cooked food. Get into the art of cooking and fall in love with kitchen. That is the place where the real pharmacy is. And then take care of your emotional health. It is so important today. And today, as a doctor that I'm practicing, especially with this current pandemic, I'm dealing with more anxiety related issues than the real health problems. So health has a lot to do in today's condition. Take care of your emotional health in whatever ways of possibilities. See, in Ayurveda, when it talks about emotional health or mental health, it's
Right.
very simply put, the dhairyam atma di vijnanam. The means your ability to see things with clarity. How
Okay.
can you see things with clarity? Before you get anxious, do I have all the information to believe what is given, or is it just my wrong imagination going there? So practice, try to understand, see things that way. And if you are getting anxious because of watching news, get out of that news. There is nothing you can do. And news is only talking about what is going wrong in a few micro percentage of this whole world that is happening. There are so many other things that are happening. And dhairyam, it means learn the art of patience, confidence, courage that comes with that. And then atma vijnanam, get into spiritual learning, understanding about your own inner spirit. These are because our mind is not designed to keep us happy. Our mind is designed to protect us. And when we say our mind is there to protect us, we are constantly looking at what is going wrong. So all of this put together, that's why we call it as a holistic approach. When you put all of this, health is a natural byproduct.
Thank you so much. When you are holistic, when you take care of all of this together, health is a natural byproduct for the same. Uh, get to the root cause. There are no defined formulas. It is person specific. If you keep your habits fine, if you identify what is getting in excess in your body, and what is your what you need to take more, and if you provide that balance, lots can be sorted out. Uh, Ayurvedic science, simple it sounds, but effective it is. And what Dr. Vignesh has said during the course of our interaction, it ensures vitality with energy. And he talked about you know Ayurvedic science and allopathic science. They complement. Each one of them is needed at a particular point of time. And if you go with the Ayurvedic processes, you are getting into healthy lifestyles, which is going to give you that longevity with energy and vitality. And that is what Ayurveda ensures for you. And get the right habits, and you are going to be fine. And that's very, very reassuring. Dr. Vignesh, it's really been very, very insightful and very, very motivating. And during this time, the way you have put it, you've simplified a lot of things for us. That gives a lot of optimism. I'm sure our viewers and audience is going to take a lot of hope with you. And I would like if you can let us know, and our audience, if people want to connect to you, uh, and so what would be the way that they can connect to you, or what could be the email or any contact details that you can share with our viewers and audience?
So I run a NABH accredited Ayurvedic hospital. It's called Sitaram Beach Retreat, where people come for Panchakarma and many metabolic disorders like polycystic ovarian syndrome, high blood pressure, weight loss, and even some extent if they are suffering with burnout or chronic fatigue syndrome, or just they want to rejuvenate and enhance their. Even though 70% of the people who come are quite healthy, not like bedridden, but they are coming because they understand the result of that. So they can go to the website sitaramretreat.com, and you can also find details how to do a consultation with me if you want to do an online consultation.
Thank you so much. And Doctor, there is one question which has popped up. I won't throw that question to you, but I would make a request. If you can make a small video, we would like to take it to our channel at a later time, and which is a very, very important question, but paucity of time does not allow to discuss that unless until you are comfortable and you would like to
Mhm.
take it up now. And that is after recovering from COVID-19, what to do for further recovery. People who are recovering, who have recovered, but then there's a lot of discussion about post-COVID care. And I feel that this is a question from by Meenakshi Alokji. And because I have also gone through a COVID phase and come out of it in the post-COVID days. And I think that's a very, very important take. And I think Ayurveda can do a lot of good in post-COVID care.
If they have the ability to do a cleanse, it will be fantastic. However, hydration is so important. Ask them if they are drinking, and make sure they are taking warm water. And even the Ayush government, they have published a product called as Ayush Quat. If you can
Okay.
take that, that will be, you can make a tea out of it and drink it every day. This will help to cleanse your system and also to improve your immune system. And also making sure, how do you live when you are just coming out of a flu. You stop going out less. I mean, you're going out is much less. You make sure you are sleeping on time. You eat food that are much easy to digest, and then you also limit your exposure to the outside world. All of this
Right.
puts together, that is how you recover much faster. See, the body will definitely recover. It's just a
Right.
matter of time and how soon we can recover, how much intensely you can relax. That is the question.
And will this be equally applicable for children? I mean, what can one do? Because through our channel, a lot of parents are connected who have young children. So, in case of children, what advice you would like to give in COVID context?
In such conditions, see, there are some fantastic immunity boosters for children in Ayurveda. Something is like Rajanyadi Churnam or Alarkand Churnam. These are
Okay.
something you can also find it. Mixing it with warm water and making them drink every day. This will help to improve their metabolism. It will help to kill their parasites. But please do check with an Ayurvedic doctor so that you are able to get the right prescription and the right dosage and the duration of that. And
Okay.
see, some people are worried, why do they have to go to an Ayurvedic doctor? But that little time that you invest with an Ayurvedic doctor, it's going to come back to you much better, because people are wasting a lot of energy when their energy is low, when their health is affected, and they go and do and try the wrong things, and that is also going to take a lot of their time. So when they get the professional help, whatever that they can done for a long time by searching by them, they are able to get it done in a very less time, and they are able to recover. So why I'm saying this, even though I'm giving you, but what I'm telling you is just putting seeds that count on integrative sciences, holistic sciences like Ayurveda. This will help you to overcome that. So for children, eliminate sugar as much as possible. If they are addicted to chocolates, get that out of the system. And if they have blocked nose, give them steam inhalation for their face. That will also help them. And reduce their screen time and make sure they go to sleep on time.
Right, perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Vignesh. Thank you so much for finding time. I know that you have a packed schedule, and you've taken time out for our audience in the US. It's really been very, very insightful. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Amitabh. Thank you so much.
Friends, friends, you were watching and listening to Dr. Vignesh, and he's given such very, very profound insight into Ayurvedic medicine and Ayurvedic practices. Uh, Here I would like also to emphasize what he said towards the end, and that's something which I have been relating with. That is one thing that people will have to now be on guard in the Corona COVID context is your mental health, because anxiety has a direct effect on your somata. If higher the anxiety, lower will be your immunity, because it will secrete negative juices in your body, affecting your entire metabolism negatively. So do take care of it. So be holistic about it. Take care of your immediate concerns. Take care of your energy and vitality. Take care of being preventive, and do take care of your mental health as well. So हम लोग मिलते रहेंगे in our next episode every Monday. I hope you are enjoying our programs on the School Times web channel every day in the prime time, that is 4 to 6. We have something or the other which is very interesting, be it maths debate or Sahityanjali catering to Hindi Sahit, or on the creative side, we have the creative times and bringing professionals from different walks of life to share their skills. I hope all of you are enjoying that. Keep watching the School Times and subscribe us so that you don't miss connecting to us when something relevant comes to you. Thank you so much. Till we meet next. God bless.